Hi there, Dietitian Mel from Active Health Clinic. Today I thought I'd film a really quick video around forward planning, why it's helpful, why I recommend it to people. Now, forward planning can be a really overwhelming and scary topic to talk about, especially for people who have either not tried it before or tried it in the past and just not found the right way to do it for them. And sometimes it's just not helpful for certain people, and that's okay. So first of all, talking about why I think forward planning is important, and I like to explain it that if you think about all of the time, effort and energy that you put into every single day thinking about food and thinking about what am I going to eat, what do I feel like, what's in the house, what do I have, do I need to go to the shops? Number one, that is incredibly cognitively and physically and sometimes even emotionally draining and fatiguing. But number two, if we're constantly thinking that amount of times in a day and in a week, that's a lot of time and energy that is going into thinking about food. And it really doesn't actually have to be this way. If we condense all of that time into one event in the week, into just thinking about food options and what are my options for the week and making sure that that is there and accessible, that significantly will decrease that amount of time, energy, and effort put into that task and therefore help reduce fatigue around this. I'm a big believer in food is something, or eating is something that we're supposed to get energy and nourishment from, not feel absolutely exhausted, emotional, and wrecked at the end of eating or thinking about food. So here's an explanation of how I like to talk about forward planning and how to go about it. However, you can do this in any way that you would find actually suits you. So take this, try it, tweak it if you need to, make it your own. There is no set right way to do this, but this is a way that I've found suits a lot of people and opens up for flexibility. So the first thing to consider is having a collection of recipes or food ideas. So it doesn't have to be recipes and following step by step, but it can be just food options written down. So if you think about getting to a mealtime, and especially if you're considerably hungry because you're low on energy, and maybe you might be disconnected from your hunger cues and you only feel ravenous hunger, it can be really hard to think about what you want when you are hangry. So I know me, when I'm hungry, it is really hard to think of food options. So if I have options written down and physically in front of me, it is easier for me to pick what I want instead of just, what do I feel like? Like, that is scary and overwhelming. So having a collection of things that you have for breakfast, things that you have for lunch, things that you have for dinner, and things that you have for snacks. It sounds really straightforward, breaking it down into those categories. You might think, I don't need to write down my breakfast options, I don't need to write down this, but I actually challenge that. Write down everything that's in your repertoire, everything that you like, and slowly add to it. It doesn't have to be a big kind of task and project all at once, because I understand that that can be really fatigue inducing and not within someone's capacity. But starting to make that collection of food ideas and or recipes in whatever detail you'd like. And then the second thing is use a template or a system. So the system that I generally recommend and that I generally go through with people is sitting down with however much time is within your cognitive baseline and thinking, okay, with my list of foods or my list of recipes and what my week looks like ahead of me, what food options can possibly go where? Now, I like to write this down in terms of days, like 1 to 7, instead of Monday to Sunday, because that's where this opens up for flexibility. So if I just write down 7 breakfast options, 7 dinner options, 7 lunch options, and, 7 or 14 snack options, I generally write to at least having 2 snacks available. I find that this is easier to just brain dump, put ideas down onto a page or digitally if you want to, and just have those ideas there. Now you can repeat things, you can put in options of nights that you might be going away or, going out for dinner or for lunch or for breakfast, or, options of getting takeaway or frozen meals, ready-made meals, every single option. It doesn't have to be something that you're physically cooking and making, and just putting everything down on the page Doesn't matter where they are. Once it's all down, you create a shopping list out of that. So what do I need to get all of this? What do I need to have all of this available to me if I want it during the week? We do our shopping, however you do that. And then it comes to a particular day in the week and you're hungry. It's, let's say, Monday lunchtime. And you go, all right, well, what do I feel like? You don't have to pick day 1 lunchtime. You could go to day 5 lunchtime or day 3 or day 7. But basically you can pick whatever you want and whatever you feel like, because you know you have it available in the house, and you can go based off what you actually feel like within the moment, what recipe you might have the capacity for making. And you give yourself options, but it's also structured and supportive. There's a lot more that could be said about this, but I would be here for a much longer video if I did that. But basically give these tips a go, play around with it, and see whether this suits you. And if you need help with this, please reach out. Myself and our other dietitians are always more than happy to help with things like forward planning or any other types of fatigue-friendly food tips, because we understand that accessibility of food is a really important part of nutrition. So yes, give this a go, take care, and happy eating.